Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the LGBTQ Consortium. I am your host for this evening, Kim Hunt. I'm Executive Director of Affinity Community Services. And Affinity is a social justice organization that works with and on behalf of LGBTQ individuals who happen to be Black, queer youth, and allies. And a lot of our work centers around social justice in general, but more specifically civic engagement, health and wellness, and leadership development. And we are here on the show on the fourth Friday of each month. And I want to remind everyone that this is a call-in show, and you are encouraged to provide your questions and comments by calling in to 312-738-1060. We also post the show on our Facebook page and website, so if you don't catch everything, there's an opportunity to see it again. We're actually going to have a guest tonight who is running a little late due to the traffic. And I just came out of the traffic not long ago myself, I understand. His name is Michael O'Connor, and eventually we're going to be talking about an event that happened this past Tuesday, a historic event, in fact, called the March On Springfield for marriage equality. But before we do that, I just want to remind folks that you can connect with Affinity in a number of ways. You can give us a call at the office at 773-324-0377. We also are on social media, so our Twitter handle is AffinityCS. You can also find us on Facebook, and you have to type in the full name Affinity Community Services for Facebook, and then our website is affinity95.org. So while Michael is coming in, I want to tell you a little bit more about Affinity's programs. Marriage equality is a big piece of what we're doing lately, but Affinity, like a lot of other LGBTQ organizations, especially those that focus on people of color, do work across many issues. So our work includes, like I said, health and wellness, and historically we have done a lot of work around bringing awareness to the health disparities of Black, lesbian, and bisexual women in particular. And we have done research studies, we've done community forums, we've done train the trainer exercises so that folks can go out and educate the community with us. We also do a lot of leadership development work, and that is anything from our scholars program that is for folks who identify as females and are part of the African diaspora and are 18 to 24 years of age. Those folks get a year of training in social justice and community organizing and nonprofit management. They also work very closely within the organization, helping to plan programs and provide services, and they also have mentors. We also do leadership trainings in other ways. We have a number of volunteers who work with us, who do anything from help us at events to also providing services to serving on committees, to being board members, and they receive trainings through our Leadership Institute, and they also learn things like life skills and facilitation and meeting skills and those sorts of things. And then we have civic engagement projects, and our civic engagement is anything from the marriage equality work that we'll talk a little bit more about shortly, to our immigration work. And the immigration work is something that we've been doing probably for about 3 years now. And our focus on the immigration piece has been around bringing Black American and LGBTQ voices to this discussion and centering that work on cultural exchanges and just having a baseline understanding of the things and experiences that bring us together and also separate us as communities. And that program is called Building Bridges, and it has a number of components to it, including an online survey, and you can find that survey on our website at affinity95.org. Look for the picture of the globe and the Building Bridges survey. That's part of it. We're also having focus groups that include 4 focus groups, in fact. We've done a focus group with African Americans. We've done a focus group with Asian Americans and immigrants. We are in the process of scheduling a focus group for the Latino community and one for African immigrants and refugees. And we are very fortunate to work with many organizations on this program. We're also part of the LGBTQ Immigrant Rights Coalition and have had a number of programs that we've done through that coalition and on behalf of that coalition that have helped to educate various communities on immigration issues as they relate to LGBTQ families and individuals. And so that's been a lot of work that we've done in addition to marriage equality. We also have monthly meetings that are led by volunteers, and oftentimes people come to us with an idea about a program, and we may not have the staff capacity to actually do the program ourselves, but we consider Affinity to be a vehicle for other people and ourselves for our community engagement and our community organizing work, and to help us have opportunities to be the change that we want to see in our communities. So we work with those individuals who have those ideas, and sometimes when you're the person who steps up, you're the person who does the work. So we have 3 groups that meet monthly, and as I said, they're led by volunteers. We have our Trans Focus group that is led by Miles Brady, and that group meets on the 3rd Thursday of the month from 7 to 9, and that's a discussion group and also a place where folks can find out about services for the transgender community. We also have 40 Plus, which is a discussion group that meets on the 4th Wednesday of the month, and they meet between 7 and end at 9-ish. Stress on the ish because they have a really good time with their discussions, and sometimes they go over a little bit. And then we have the senior group, which is a group for individuals who are 60 years of age and older. And they meet on the last Saturday of the month. So in fact, their meeting is tomorrow, and they meet from 11 to 1. And they're a group that is designed to be discussion, also provide information on services, and be support to individuals who are caretakers for their partners. In addition to their monthly meeting, they occasionally have other activities that they do. They recently had a senior old school dance, and they have an event coming up in November, which I'll tell you about in just a moment. And then we have a new group that'll be starting next month called Civic Sessions, and that is a group for 25 to 35-year-olds. Also a discussion group that may want to do some volunteer activities or other activities from time to time. So we have these groups because part of our mission is creating safe spaces and opportunities for people to come together in ways where they don't have to apologize or explain who they are, and have a good time, do social justice work, talk about social justice work, and make sure that they are taking care of themselves. So in terms of some of our upcoming events for November and December, we are going to be having a breakfast workshop on financial services for LGBTQ families on November 12th, and that is a partnership that we have with Max Elliott and BMO Harris. That event will be in the morning, early in the morning, at BMO Harris's downtown branch. On November 16th, our senior group is having their annual luncheon. They are also going to have a guest speaker, Scott Ross Kelly, who is from Blue Cross Blue Shield, and he is going to be talking about the Affordable Care Act and Medicare. And that is going to be at the Chicago Theological Seminary from 11 to 1. On December 1st, we're going to have a program titled Black Women, Trans Men, and HIV/AIDS in honor of World AIDS Day. We're securing a location for that. December 14th, we will have our Black Light Karaoke, which is a quarterly event that we have that features spoken word and open mic and opportunity for folks to get some artivism, as we like to call it, folks who talk about social justice work in their art, but also an opportunity for folks to share the mic. And then our big event at the beginning of the year is Bernie Bowl on January 11th. And that is a huge community event. This year we had about 250 people at that event, and it's an affirmation ceremony that we do once a year. So those are some of the things that we do in addition to marriage equality, and it looks like Mike is here. So let's let him get settled. Once again, you can find out more about Affinity at affinity95.org. You can check us out on Twitter at AffinityCS. And then if you're going to look for us on Facebook, don't forget you have to type in the full name, which is Affinity Community Services. And while Mike is getting settled, I want to share with you this lovely picture. This is the bus load of folks who went to the March on Springfield for marriage equality this past Tuesday. They're wearing the shirts that Mike and I have on. And it was a fantastic group, fantastic day that we're going to talk about now. Mike, you have mysteriously appeared.
Yes, I have. The magic of television.
So this is Michael O'Connor, and Michael is a great friend to Affinity. We call him an honorary lesbian.
Oh, yeah.
And
interesting thing.
Former legislative assistant to Representative Connie Howard. So, Mike, why don't you talk to us about what happened on the 22nd, and we can talk more about some of the legislation that's currently going on in the House.
Well, following the need for public policy education within our community, and when I say our, when you wake up African American and GBLTQ, it's all the same. It's not one versus the other. Mm-hmm. The same unemployment, the same lack of health care, mm-hmm. the same issues that plague all African Americans or all persons who are economically disadvantaged plague us.
Right.
So this Affinity Public Policy Day that we did in Springfield is part of the Civil Engagement Files Initiative, as you know, mm-hmm. that it's an ongoing effort to educate as many persons as we can about public policy issues before them. Mm-hmm. So when we went to Springfield on the 22nd, like we have so many other times mm-hmm. in different things, we dealt with a number of issues. We dealt with the education files issues. We dealt with the marriage equality issues. Mm-hmm. We dealt with the healthcare issues. We went to the first opening session for the veto session mm-hmm. In the actual legislative chambers. We sat in the speaker's box, and that was a good opportunity to begin the process of educating people about what actually happens in Springfield. And that, I saw it as an empowering situation, and I'm sure that the 45 to 50 people that we took saw that as too. It's an ongoing effort that we hopefully will be able to do as a social justice organization to educate our people about the public policy perspectives that affect us.
Mm-hmm.
When we went to that, I thought it was very interesting that we went to the Education Committee meeting that dealt directly with a number of far as those issues. For example, Camille Lilly had a bill that dealt with far as amending the school code, which changes in sections concerning criminal history records. Mm-hmm. You know how you have this. How do you combine all of the statewide FARS records so that people will know if sex offenders are working for their school district? Things like that. We watched what some of us call affectionately Crazy Mary and her issues. Yeah, well, and it was just it was one of those things. But it looks like we have a caller now.
Yeah, we got a caller. Hi, you're on the air. What's your question or comment?
Hi, I'm very proud to Hi, I'm very proud to hear about you guys' program. I was one of the active participants who...
You still there?
Yes, I am. One of the active participants who marched for the... yes, I am.
He was one of the marches. It sounds like he was in... There seems
You
to
were
be...
in Springfield? There's a little bit of a delay. Is your TV on?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Should I turn that down?
Yeah, turn that down.
There you go. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, so I was an activist participant who marched on Springfield for marriage equality.
Great.
And you mentioned a program for the over 40 group, and I wanted to get more information about that. And by the way, I wanted to say hi to Mike O'Connor.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm pretty okay.
Well, you can talk.
Yeah,
It's
so
a great thing.
one thing that I didn't point out is that the descriptions for all of our programs are on our website. So a description of the purpose and the dates of the programs, they're there too. So like I was saying, it's mostly a discussion group. But if you go to the website and also check out our Facebook page, you'll be able to learn more about that program. And there were actually some folks from 40 Plus on the bus too. They great support system for the organization. So
Okay.
thank you for marching.
And it was my absolute pleasure. I felt like a total activist participating. And I wish I would have saw Mike O'Connor. I'm actually a personal friend of Mike O'Connor's, and I'm sure he's wondering who I am. But we're old-time friends. My name is Andre.
Oh, okay. Nice to remember you again. It's a good thing.
I don't want to give a last name, but I'm absolutely displeasured to see that you're an active member of the Affinity, and I'm going to learn more about you guys' program and hopefully become a part of it.
Oh, that would be
great.
That would be great. You know, we seem to have such a interesting thing. The reason why I've been, as far as affiliated with a lot of different organizations over the number of the past 2 decades in some form or fashion, not just dealing with legislative issues, but mostly legislative issues. But I know that once you get over 40, which is a part of this group, in our community, for some odd reason, persons are kind of kicked to the curb.
Yeah.
It's culturally unacceptable to be around them, and for some, this group does not do that.
Yeah.
And I'm so used to dealing with men's groups, and then you have to deal with all the testosterone. So this is a refreshing, real refreshing effort to see black women coalesce with each other and be able to do it in an effective manner that has results.
And with black men.
Yes, and black men. That's why I joined it. I'm like, yeah, this will work.
Yeah, in fact, Michael's been really part of Affinity's DNA with the Bud Billiken March and all of that. At the time, it wasn't Affinity; it was an ad hoc group of Black LGBT people who.
Yeah, Lisa Pickens,
co-founder
and
of Affinity.
People like Chris Smith, and I can go on and on and on.
And that was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah,
that
almost
was 20 years ago.
It was
20
years ago
when you guys marched.
It was 20 years ago. We marched in the Bud Billiken Parade,
and the out Black LGBT group.
Yes, as an out Black LGBT group, and it was interesting because they said all kind of stuff was going to happen to us, and nothing happened. A lot of people that we've been knowing marching down King Drive all along was cheering us on. So I really do believe that Affinity is a continuation of empowerment in our community, by our community, with individuals in our community.
And I'm glad you mentioned that there at first was an assumption, really, that there would be some hostility towards the group and all that, because there is that perception that the black community is just super homophobic. And that's not to say that there isn't homophobia in the black community, but just like with other communities, that has changed over time.
Yeah, people, look, everybody, regardless of sexual orientation, at least in African American communities, trying to eat, trying to be educated,
Exactly.
trying to deal with health care.
Exactly.
And we all are part of a number of all of those organizations that for us participate in the empowerment of our people.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is well, I mean, if you just check out what happened in terms of those people that were in Springfield yesterday, the only people who were really acting crazy, or at least having comments that were totally inappropriate, were Caucasian ministers, reading from that same Bible that tried to enslave as many of us as possible, and in some cases continue to enslave us. The Affinity Group, when we went to Springfield for the March on Springfield, we went there not just to deal with marriage equality, but we went there to deal with all of the issues as much as possible, to lobby on behalf, because we have straight cousins who need health care.
Right.
We ourselves need health care.
Exactly.
So it's a good thing. It's an ongoing, growing process that I hope we can continue to help empower us. As far as with your leadership and with Lisa Pickens and with Chris and with all the other people, we can continue the process of empowering ourselves through legislative avenues.
Absolutely. Oh, looks like we got another caller. This is great.
Okay.
Hi, you're on the air.
Hi, Michael.
Now you're on the air.
I don't know if you remember me, but Rich Days, okay?
Okay.
So you know we go way back.
Got a little code going on.
That's
The
okay.
Rich is a
Maybe
bar.
when we have a Rich reunion, me, you, and Andre can all get together.
Okay, that'll work.
My only comment or question that I want to ask, for those of us that cannot go to Springfield, what can we do not behind the scenes, but if I can't go to Springfield, what can I do from home?
Yeah.
Well, here's what we can do from home.
We're going to answer that with you off the air, okay?
Okay, fine.
Can I do that? Here's what we need to do. The first thing we need to do is we need to know who our state reps is. We need to know who our alderman is. We need to know who our committee person is. We need to be able to go to their office, because it is a public office. Our taxpayers pay for it. And even if you're not working, somebody in your family pay taxes, so that allows you to go into their office and ask them the questions that deal with you, that deal with making sure that you are happy, healthy, and at least prosperous in some form or fashion. Unemployment is too high in our community for us not to be able to walk into legislators' office and ask about legislative policies that will put us back to work, that will make sure that there are contracts in our community.
That's right.
For starters.
Yeah.
And thanks for the call.
And another thing, and we've got to wrap up soon, is there are still phone banks going on for the marriage effort, because this is happening we hope is happening in veto session. There are only 3 days left.
Yeah, starting November 5th.
November 5th.
Right,
and,
starting November 5th, 6th, and 7th.
So the Illinois Unites for Marriage Coalition is having additional phone banks, so you can talk to your legislator.
Right.
And you can find out where those phone banks are at illinoisunites.org. Go ahead.
I'd like to do a shout out to Mark Sussman, who is not just a democratic thing for us, but it's a non-partisan situation. He helped us to make sure that we had access to those Republican legislators who understand that we are also a part of FARS Illinois. So this is a nonpartisan situation where we educate persons at Affinity and our members about public policy processes, everything from knowing how to vote to being deputy registers to vote, and being able to intelligently look up for yourself on www.ilga.com those legislative policies that your legislator is dealing with.
And you can always call Affinity and we can talk about that. So we actually have to wrap up. I know that we have another caller and we'll have to take the call off the air. So I am so sorry that we didn't get to everybody. We will do this again. We'll have Mike on again. I'll go pick him up so he doesn't have to depend on CTA.
No, I was depending on paratransit.
I understand.
Okay.
Even worse.
They got a problem too.
Right.
We need, especially with older people. They definitely
they're going to give us the hook pretty soon. So we're going to have to go. We are on the fourth Friday of the month. month. But feel free to connect with us in between shows via the Facebook. You can call us at the office.
What is our office number?
The office number, again, is 773-324-0377. So thank you all. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next month.